Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the Norman Manley International Airport, and that is the airport straight ahead. We are going to look at who owns the airport. Now I just want to point out, we put up an article recently, or a video, about building a fourth international airport in Jamaica, and a lot of the comments that we got um, about that video made us realize that a lot of persons don't realize that the Jamaican government owns the Norman Manley International Airport. They also own the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. We are actually in Kingston, Jamaica. The Norman Manley International Airport is located in Kingston, Jamaica. And that's the airport we're looking at. Okay, so what happened is the Jamaican government gave a concession to a Mexican company to operate the airport for 30 years. The contract is actually for 25 years, but they have the option of extending it another 5 years to 30 years. Now, it's important to note that they gave the Mexican company permission to operate the airport. The Jamaican government still owns the airport, but a concession was given to the Mexican company to operate the airport. So the same way you have Highway 2000 that is owned by the Jamaican government, but a Chinese company was given a concession to collect toll on the road. I think it was 50 years for one of the highways, but the highway still is owned by the Jamaican government. It's the same sort of public-private partnership that occurred with the airport. Now, the Jamaican government will get revenue from the operation of the airport, so they're not losing anything. And the Mexican company that took it over has agreed to spend something like 110 million US dollars to upgrade the airport over time. So it's very important to note the Jamaican government did not sell the airport. And if a new airport is built, well, the government is looking to build a fourth international airport, and they're looking at Vernon Field. So if the Vernon Field airport is built, it will be owned by the Jamaican government, but maybe the same sort of concession agreement is done where another company can operate the airport for a specified period of time. So we're going to go through an article that explains the divesting of the operations of the airport in more detail so that persons can better understand it. Now remember, we're talking about the operations, not the ownership of the airport. The government has divested the operation of the Norman Manley International Airport to Mexican entity Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico. A 25-year concession agreement was signed at the office of the Prime Minister by Chairman of the Airports Authority, which owns the Norman Manley International Airport, Honorable William Shaguru, President and Chief Executive Officer, CEO Audley Diedrich, and GAP's Chief Executive Officer Roel Musalim, and head of the entity's subsidiary PAC Kingston Airport Limited, Mr. Garcia. The formalities were witnessed by Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness and Transport and Mining Minister Honorable Robert Montague. So at the time that this concession was done, Robert Montague was the minister, and this was in 2018. Under the agreement, GAP will be responsible for improving the airport's land and air operational efficiency and financing and completing a modernization program at an estimated cost of over 110 million US dollars. So the Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico, that's GAP, that's the Mexican company. So let me read this part again. Under the agreement, GAP will be responsible for improving the airport's land and air operational efficiency and financing and completing a modernization program at an estimated cost of over 110 million US dollars. Additionally, the government will receive a guaranteed percentage of the airport's gross revenue. The entity has the option to extend the arrangement by an additional 5 years. The GAP emerged the preferred of 3 bidders, which included 2 consignors of foreign and local investors. Their selection followed the public opening and evaluation and Cabinet's subsequent approval of the 3 bid submissions received by the Development Bank of Jamaica. The transaction value for GAP's bid totals over US $2 billion. Prime Minister Holness said the transaction represents another successful private-public partnership deal coming on the heels of similar arrangements with the Kingston Container Terminal and North-South Highway. The successful outcome of this public-private partnership attests to the transparency and equity of the process. Alright guys, thanks for having a discussion with us today about who owns the airport.